Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to Mini Monday, where today we'll be painting some new minis. I have these two small 3D printed minis that I made a while back. I just haven't painted them, so we're gonna just kind of paint them up real quick today. The colors I'll be using today is I have a coffee latte, just some folk art paint. I have some teddy bear brown, also from folk art. I also have this contrast color, skeleton horde. This is actually going to be the base, and you gotta make sure we shake that up well. This is going to be the base and the first coat that we'll put on. I'm also, oops, look at that guy speeding out of here. I'm also be using a steel gray from folk art, and I have two Reaper paints. I have Naga green and dragon blue. Naga green will be the leaves and all that kind of stuff, and then the blue will be the crystals on our wizard here. We'll put blue on his beard and blue on his staff. Those are the two types of colors we'll be using for that. But like I said, first we're going to start off with this contrast color, since it will take the longest part to dry. We're almost going to be using it as like a wash. I have this 3D printed holder thing. And if anybody wants to see how it actually goes in, it goes in just like that. Some of them are a little tighter than others, but some of them go in pretty easy. But this thing isn't going anywhere now. We have our signature, or my signature. Signature is probably better. Clean water, dirty water. So we're gonna go into our clean water here. Make sure our brush is nice and moist, and then we're gonna go right into this. So we're going to use this top here, just get it all into our brush, and then we're going to start from the top, work our way down, just kind of glob it in there. This is going to give our mini a pretty good brown base color, and that's kind of what I want. I want these guys to be earthy, because I mean they are Earthfolk, right? You can find these on Thingiverse. They're all free, they're supportless, so you could make them on an FDM printer or even a resin printer, which is what I used. I used my Anycubic Photon to print these off. I printed off a decent amount of these actually. I just haven't painted literally any of them yet. But that's what we're going to be doing today, painting up two, quick and easy, nothing too crazy. We're not going to win any awards painting these, but we're definitely going to have some fun painting these up. Now we want to make sure that we get all this on there nice and thick, because this is going to be his base, and I don't want to say his only coat, but his primary coat. So we want to make sure that we get in all the cracks, crevasses, all the good stuff. Make sure you keep your brush moist too. And then we want to get it on the base too, on here as well. Just get it all on there. That's why we're using a kind of a bigger fan brush today, just so we can get it on there. Don't worry too much about the outer ring, because that is going to be painted up black anyway. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Well, we're just going to get that. You could probably hear my heater in the back. I'm in the basement, and it gets kind of cold in this room, in my craft room here. The old craft room gets a little chilly. So to keep it in, you know, at least above 60 in here, we're going to keep that heater going, just to keep me warm. So, yeah, I'm just going to do a little bit of this. But like I said, you don't need to do this. This is totally optional. But yeah, paint it all up just like that. This is going to be our good, earthy based color. Not too bad right off the bat though. Oh, we missed a spot. We gotta make sure we hit all those little spots. And we're gonna do that for both of these. So let's do this one now. And so yeah, I'm gonna give these, I don't know, probably an hour or two to completely dry. I just want to make sure that they're totally done. Now this stuff is the contrast colors. It's pretty thin as it is, so you don't really need to thin it too much. But I am just keeping my brush moist, so it goes on a little easier for me. Look at that though. Look at that. Brings those details right out of there. Now I wouldn't leave them just like this. I wouldn't leave them this brown because I want a little bit more color. That's why we're bringing in those other different types of paints, the other folk art paints. I want to brighten them up a bit, darken them a bit. This guy, since he's wearing like almost armor, I want him to have like a good, almost like a gray color to him. Kind of like it's not steel or any type of metal. I just I want it to kind of look like a more stony rock than a more muddy earth rock. So that's what we're going to be aiming for with this guy. Stick it all in there. Get a little bit more in there. That a little bit darker in there. Yeah, so since the grays are a little bit lighter in color than this brown that we got going on here, make sure you get this in all the cracks, because we're going to put a wash over these after we're done. But just so we have those good shaded areas right off the bat, go ahead and leave them like that. I got these bases, where did I get these bases? I think I got them from Miniature Market, and it was like a sale, I think. Yeah, I think it was a sale, and I got a whole bunch of them, like a ton of these bases. And I saw them, I was like, yeah, I could probably use some forested areas. So I bought a whole bunch of them, and I'm glad I bought them because they look fantastic with these little earth guys. And I think on Thingiverse, these earth people, they have stats and stuff with them even. They did a lot of work for these guys. So yeah, if you wanted to like use them in your Dungeons and Dragons or whatever, yeah, I think they got you covered. So there we go. We're gonna clean off our brush here. There we go. Remember, get the biggest paint off in the dirty, and then all the small stuff off in the clean water, so we kind of keep it clean. There we go. Now this stuff is called Skeleton Horde, I believe. Close that. Yeah, this is, hold on, let me focus. Let me back it up right here. Yeah, this stuff is called Skeleton Horde, so it's going to look a little bony when it actually fully dries. I mean, you can kind of start to look at it right now. It does look almost a little like dirty ivory almost. But that's okay. We want it to kind of look like that. So we're going to let this completely dry. Then we'll come back. We'll give it a good brush, dry brush with this teddy bear, a heavy dry brush. Then we'll come back, do maybe some highlights with this, maybe on the faces, maybe to keep them, you know, lifted. This we're going to hit the stones. Like there's a stone on this particular base. There's a little stone right there. We'll hit that one, but mainly we're going to be hitting him. We want to hit the big guy himself with this steel gray. And then the greens, we're going to do all the ivory and stuff. Can you kind of see it right there coming up? Kind of see it coming up right there. We're going to hit that with the Naga green. The blue, just those crystals. All right, so I'll see you in a bit. We're going to let those dry. All right, catch you in a bit. Okay, and we're back. So, these are completely dry now. They came out pretty good, So what we're going to do, just to end this video, we're going to put just a little bit, heavy dry brush of this teddy bear brown from Folk Art. We're going to put that basically on everything. So the whole thing on both minis will get a full dry brush of this. So that's why it was very important that we had the base coat of the contrast color fully dry. So let's grab our little piece of container here, And looks like I moved my paper towels. We'll need a paper towel because we're going to do the dry brush technique. So we're going to move this down here. We're going to grab ourselves a pretty big fan brush. We're going to shake this up. Put a good glob on the palette. Not huge, but a decent one. Then when we put the brush into the paint, we want to kind of like open up the fan bristles a little bit. So we're just kind of pushing and moving it around a bit, and you kind of see that we're getting it in everything. Now, we want to wipe most of this stuff off, so we're just going to go ahead and go down, and we move our way down slowly and slowly, but we want this to be a pretty thick brush, so I think somewhere right in there is probably pretty good. But we're going to want to start in the base and work our way up, because the base is okay if we get it a little, you know, a little dirty. But yeah, we're just going to start from the base. And you can see that that's really starting to darken up that base a little bit for us. And just kind of go crazy with it, you know. Just kind of get it in everything. Again, don't worry too much about actually getting it on the little ring there. As long as we got a close estimation of it, we should be fine. So what's going to happen here is the dark from the contrast color and the brown from this teddy bear brown, they're going to want to kind of commingle with one another. And we'll kind of make those paler parts of the miniature a little bit darker. Not too much, but a little darker. We want to get everything too, so make sure we really dig in there. Again, and I've said this in my other videos, dry brushing is a fantastic technique to pick up. Easy to learn. Not too hard to master, and it really gets stuff going. You can get a lot of stuff done real quickly with it, and a decent result as well. So you can kind of see he's looking a little muddy, like, you know, like kind of like he rolled in mud or something, and that's exactly what we want. We want him to look like he's in mud, because he's a little rock dude, a little dirt folk, you know what I mean? So we want him to kind of look like that. Don't worry about the staff or any of his beard that we're going to be painting blue. Don't worry about that for right now. Yep, so let's look at a before and after here. You can kind of, once I get some focus here, hold on. You can kind of see it before and after. It darkened him up just a hair, and it gave him a little bit more of a mud tone. The base is the same way. You can kind of see it here. Kind of see. So we're going to do the same thing with this guy. He's going to get a gray dry brush after this. So I wouldn't worry too much about his coat on him, because he's going to get a whole nother one too. But still get it on there, just so everything's kind of uniform, you know. Again, wipe most of that stuff off. And we're slowly working around in the base. Just kind of touching everything. If you see any spots that you missed, just kind of hit them with this. And then we'll work our way up slowly from the back here. Trying to get any of that excess paint over here. Again, just trying to darken him up a bit. I need a little bit of extra paint here, because it looks like the primer didn't go real well inside of those little cracks of his, so not a whole lot of paint stuck to there. So we want to make sure that that we get that stuff in there. Yeah, and then we're just going to kind of move our way up here. Look at that. That is looking fantastic. Looking from the bottom here, working from the bottom. And it's kind of, I mean, look at this. We're just kind of wiggling this thing around here. Getting our paint in all those little spots. We'll just kind of stick it in there. Just trying to get it on his legs. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, there it is. Look at that. So we're going to go ahead and wash these off. But there you go. Look at that. step one done. We put on, so the two colors that we used today was we used contrast color Skeleton Horde. That was the base after we put a white primer over it. Then we heavily dry brushed with this Folk Art Teddy Bear Brown. These are the two colors we used today. In the next video, we'll probably use maybe a little bit of this Cafe Latte to, you know, make their faces a little bit stick out more. We'll do the Steel Gray and maybe a little bit of Dove Gray, I'm not too sure, on the armored guy. And then we'll do the detail work with a little bit of Naga Green and Dragon Blue from Reaper's Miniature Paints. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Until the next time, I'll see you all later. Peace out.